Hey, it's me, Magical Shante 888, just popping on for a quick video. So this video is about grief, and the process and understanding that the grief process, it's like a non-ending cycle because sometimes when you think that you've gotten over one thing, you really might not be over that thing. Um, and something shows up, you know, and it reminds you of that, or sometimes you experience something and it kind of makes you feel like, I might be over this part, or I might not feel as deeply saddened about this. Like, I have more peace. So, being in a place of more acceptance on the grief wheel, because I don't remember all of the stages. I can look it up. Um, let me see if I can. I don't know. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but it ties into what I am talking about. But basically, I have found myself at a new point in my journey, um, and I feel like I am at the acceptance point of accepting where certain relationships and connections have shifted. They may not have ended, but they're just different. And if you're anything like me, like most people, we don't like change. We don't like forced change, because I'll change my hair in a minute. Like, I might get bored by the end of the day and decide, oh, I'm going to change my hair, or I'm going to change my outfit. Now, why would you come park here and there's all these places? Like, anyways, but basically, when it comes to dealing with grief and stuff, like, you go through all of the stages, like I mentioned, like I'm repeating. I'm getting sidetracked because this person just parked close to me, and it's just like the parking lot's empty. Like, you could have parked anywhere else. But anyways, grief is a tricky thing because sometimes you feel like you're over something. I keep on repeating myself, but really, you feel like you're over something, and then sometimes, you experience something, and it takes you right back to that place that you were when you found out about, I don't know, maybe a betrayal, or maybe like obviously someone dying, because grief can show up for different reasons. It can be the grief of a friendship, it can be the grief of you actually physically losing someone, you know, close to you or even distant. It can really show up in a lot of different ways. And I think that understanding that and possibly seeking some type of help, even if it's like reading different books to understand, or reading the books and then getting therapy, or just like all of these different things. I think that it's really important for us to get to know ourselves. And I feel like the reason why I can even make this video and even make this point is because I know that I have been doing work. There are still other steps that I need to take and that I want to take to make things even better for myself. But I know that I have actually been doing the work internally to make situations in my life better. Um, and basically, I just feel like I'm at a point of acceptance. And I didn't know how the hell I was going to get here, but I know that from a like young age, or at least in my adolescence, I dealt with a lot of things like all at once. And it felt like the world was just like, I felt like I didn't understand why these things were happening to me, like almost back to back. I mean, seriously, things that regular people, regular adults, that if they experience those things back to back, like I don't know that they would bounce back. And I guess the difference is that when you're younger, you're resilient. Like people say children are resilient, and I do believe that children are, but it's like sometimes sometimes that resilience, like it still gets tarnished, because even though you got through that and it seemed like a breeze, like people don't know exactly what you dealt with each of those situations. But I also feel like, again, those things that I experienced at a younger age than most prepared me to be able to deal with things and to be able to let go of things and people and places. And for a long time after those situations happened, I had a hard time with letting go. But I'm finally at a point to where it's easier for me to let go. So I feel like it's all obviously connected because it's my life. But like even me being able to reflect and look at it in the way that I'm looking at it now is amazing, because it would be easy for me to be a victim of all of the things that I've experienced. I'm not here to do the damn trauma Olympics. I can't stand a person that's like trying to compare trauma. Like, what kind of lame at, like, what? You're lame for that. Because, yes, you could have experienced something worse, but you could have handled it differently versus me handling something, to each its own. Everybody deals with things differently. But I know that I was made for this shit, and everything that I've gone through, I handled it like a G, chin up. Okay. I handled it, and I'm even more resilient for that shit. Now, does it mean that I'm going to choose the same type of bullshit intentionally? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because just because I went through it then, I don't know how I would deal with it now. I mean, yes, I would like to think I would deal with it more mature and like just avoid it, but sometimes things come in to shake shit up. And I've been shaken up a many a times, honey. Many times that I would like to have been shaken up. But it's a part of my journey. I can't take it away. I would not trade it. And I'm grateful for those things that shook me up and shook the damn table, because I wouldn't be who I am today, you know? But again, my point is just that grief is just one of those things that is an evolving cycle. Like, one day you might feel sad about something, the next day you might feel fine about it, and I'm saying this to myself to give myself grace, because I can be hard on myself about why I still care about people, or why I still feel a certain type of way when some shit happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, and I'm triggered by it. And it obviously just means it's coming up because I need to process it and not like repress it. Is that a word? I don't know. Suppress it, not repress it, suppress it. Um, and I find that I suppress my feelings sometimes by laughing. And it's not inherently a bad thing, but it is an avoided way to deal with things. It's the dark humor. Like something really sad could have happened, and then I have to find some weird way to joke and laugh, but it's a way of me like transmuting. So again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's like it's not a good thing when you cannot actually look at what you're feeling and say, this is how I'm feeling, instead of like projecting or like just rejecting it. You know what I mean? So I am grateful for the fact that one of my superpowers is feeling, and feeling very, very deep, very, very deeply. Hold on.